the recording secretary for a roll call.
Here.
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 Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. I have a volunteer to read the mission statement.
All right. Delaware Valley School District, in partnership with our community, stands committed to maximizing student potential, fostering lifelong learning, and promoting responsible citizenship.
Thanks, Chloe. I have a motion to adopt the agenda.
Someone. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objection, the motion carries. I'd like to remind everyone that the public comments are welcome throughout the meeting. Please raise your hand, identify yourself, and ask to be recognized. Item number 3 is presentations. I'll ask the Superintendent John Bell to introduce tonight's presentations.
Okay, thank you, sir. We don't have any student recognitions tonight, so we'll go right to B. And I'd like to introduce Mrs. Stephanie Cavallero from our art department. She comes every March to see us.
My favorite time of the year.
And this is her last March to see us.
Well, hello everybody. I'm the art department chair, and I have with me tonight Dr. Irene Lance and Mrs. Tricia Taylor, and they're helping me join in our celebration of Youth Art Month. But we're also here tonight on behalf of the whole K-12 art department and all of our students, our wonderful talented students at D-Day. I always say every year, if I worked anywhere else, I think I have to advocate why we need to have art in our schools and why it's so important. And in the education of the whole child. And having come from a Catholic school education with almost no art experience, I really do take great pride in working here at DV, and I always have taken great pride within a place where we offer our students so many ways that they can express themselves creatively, whether it's either visually, theatrically or musically, but in all of those ways, we are just really feel truly blessed to be here. In the time that I've served as art department chair, I've come here each year because March is Youth Art Month, and it's the time of the year which we as art teachers really love to see our students shine. So, and we do that through all of our various art shows, which many of you have attended to over the years, seeing your own children come to our schools. And we also like to further promote our arts, the art by printing this wonderful set of note cards, which we're going to give you each tonight, featuring artwork from all of the 7 schools and all the 11 teachers that we have here in the art department. We each chosen one piece of artwork, so you'll get a nice representation of your student work. But this year I thought I would do something a little bit different in honor of my last March. And I thought you'd enjoy really hearing firsthand from a couple students as to why art has been so important in their lives here at D-Day. So I would like to introduce you to these 2 young ladies over here, Julia and Kiki. And they are a testimony to how presence of art has made an impact on their education. So we were fortunate earlier this year to start our own chapter of the National Art Honor Society. And with the help and support of Brian Blom and advisement of Dr. Irene Lance, we've got this started earlier on this year. So Kiki is our vice president and Julie is our president. So they're going to come talk to you a little bit about it. And so, would you like to come up and just say a few words, please? I'll step over here. Good evening. I'm Julia Thompson, and I'm the president of the National Art Honor Society. I'm going to be reading a brief description of what the National Art Honor Society is and what we do and how it benefits us. The National Art Honor Society was established in 1978 to recognize students that excel in visual arts. Today, we are a network of over 58,000 members. Students are selected based upon their academic achievements and dedication to arts both in and out of school. NAHS also emphasizes the importance of being an involved and active member of our school and community. Being part of NAHS presents numerous opportunities to grow and gain recognition for our talent and dedication. It serves as a platform for us to share our work on a larger scale and be acknowledged. Like the National Honor Society, NAHS aims to utilize our skills
to contribute to our school and community. We participate in group volunteer work that involves construction, painting, and decoration to beautify and improve public areas. We also help put together events and encourage others to utilize art in ways that are expressive and uplifting. This is Dee Dee's first year of NAHS, and our group's achievements and dedication to various mediums of art are astonishing. Together, we have experience with everything from metalworking to digital art to painting to ceramics. We are also learning to observe, critique, and appreciate others' art on an advanced and sophisticated level. Most importantly, NAHS is enabling us to make a positive contribution to our community and our school in ways that are complex, creative, and beautiful.
Hi everybody, my name is Kiki Ruggiero and I'm a junior at DV. I'm just going to be talking to you about some of our goals and achievements of NAHS that we have already completed and hope to complete. So our goals and aspirations for this year revolve around us featuring our amazingly talented artists and inspiring them to put their incredible talent to bettering our school district, community, and society through a variety of projects. As of now, we have completed our collective artwork for the Hexagon project, which was presented by each of our members at our induction ceremony. The prompt centered around transforming conflict, whether personal or national. By creating an avenue for our artists to express a variety of struggles, the project hopes to bring awareness to many of the issues that we face today, and to spark a flicker of change and peace within the hearts of many. During Black History Month, we decided to begin a committee that would work to create a bulletin board in our school that highlighted the beautiful artwork and poetry Black artists contributed to this world. With tremendous help from my committee members, Abby Bruno, Abby Babbitts, Adriana Mojica, and especially Julia here. We created printouts of famous Black art, as well as handmade portraits of Louis Armstrong, Maya Angelou, Charles White, and multiple others to pin up on our board. This project brought so much attention to NAHS, along with the legendary artists that we featured. And an article about our board was published in the following issue of our school's newspaper in Delaware. For future goals, each of our members are working hard to create individual service projects for the society, whether it be teaching art at a nursing home or designing murals on some street. And sometime this spring, we hope as a group to organize art shows and special classes at our district's middle schools as well. Now, despite this being our school's first year having NAHS, we have already created an exceptionally good reputation for ourselves in our art program. I've already had numerous students come up to me and ask what the criteria is and hope to become a part of what we are. And the irreplaceable spirit of our artists that our artists possess and their remarkable ambition and creativity is the absolute heart of this society. And with this unanimous devotion, NAHS is destined to create beautiful changes for our school and student body this year.
Going to share our personal experiences with the art department in this district and how it has positively impacted us. I am eternally grateful for the impact that our district's art department has had on me. Because of it, I've had the opportunity to learn skills that are applicable in a broad range of industries from people that are unbelievably talented and experienced. At this point, I have learned from 7 of the art teachers in our district, and they've each pushed me to improve my techniques and explore new mediums. The most important things that I've learned from them, however, have gone far beyond the skills that I acquired. My first art teacher was Mrs. Edmonds. I very fondly remember my classmate breaking part of his paper mache mask, and Mrs. Edmonds, instead of, freaking out or scolding him, she said that sometimes the best thing you can do in art is make a mistake. And that sometimes that mistake can make your piece even better than it would have been without it. I didn't realize it at the time, but that little moment has impacted how I handle setbacks more than any inspirational quote I have ever heard. My elementary school teacher was Mrs. Avery, and it was in her class that I realized that art was something I could really be good at. I remember mixing the light green for the background of a mural that is now hanging in the cafeteria. And she made me feel like I had just mixed the best green that anyone had ever made. Her happy classroom with Beatles songs playing on loop was by far the best part of my school day. From then on, I had a new love of color and of art overall. Having my newfound appreciation and confidence in art made my position in middle school exciting. Mrs. Sosonsky took the time to look at my work and encouraged me to continue creating. She saw potential in pieces that seem pretty cringeworthy to me now, but without her support, I may not have pursued art any further than a mandatory art class. Freshman year was difficult and stressful for me, despite my wonderful support system. And it took a toll on my confidence to an extent that felt irreparable at the time. However, one day in Dr. Lance's general art class, I looked down at my hands when we were painting this really cheesy still life of these wine bottles and fruit. And I just, all of a sudden, I was overwhelmed by how beautiful my skin looked, covered in all of these colors, and just the power that I have been given to create beautiful things. I felt foolish for it afterward, but in the moment, it was difficult for me to hold back happy tears. It was a turning point that I can genuinely say changed my life for the better. Since then, Dr. Lance has taught me to never doubt my ability to improve and to appreciate the level of skill that it takes to be a great artist. Mrs. Taylor introduced me to digital art beyond the drawing app on my iPad and helped me develop my perspective as an artist. She also helped me realize just how applicable art is in the workforce. It's because of her that I began to take my passion for art seriously and pursue it with everything I have. Mrs. Sweeney was stuck with me for 3 semesters in a row, and I improved more in her class than I ever thought possible. She taught me to appreciate the extent to which an artist pours himself into their work. She showed me by the way that she treats each and every one of her students that every brushstroke, every new concept, and every artist is valuable and can be admired and learned from. Mrs. Caballero taught me, most importantly, to never, ever use Comic Sans font. She also showed me that others may appreciate my pieces far more than I ever thought they would. She has so consistently supported my work and has helped me take advantage of every opportunity to have my art recognized and seen by others. Her encouragement pushes me to remain confident in myself and my art, and to continue to put myself and my work out there. Because of the positive impact that our art department has had on me as a whole, I plan to get a degree in art education after high school. I hope that I can follow my teacher's footsteps and change people's lives as much as they've changed mine. Genuinely, thank you for your continuing support of our art department and of students like myself.
I wish I had those elementary experiences, but I was actually homeschooled K through 8, and as a child I was very creative and I loved art, and my mother, who was a teacher, she taught me so much and helped me grow in that love for it. And towards middle school, I don't know what happened, I sort of faded away from the art program, just art in general. I realized that, I'm not going to make a lot of money in it, or it's not the avenue for me, I want to be successful, so why not? It's not important to me. And then I got to high school and I took general art with Mrs. Lance or Dr. Lance, I'm sorry. And I realized that all of those other avenues that other people go into that do make a lot of money and that are very important and successful, I'm not bashing them at all because that's for them. It wasn't what made me happy. And that general art, just general art in general, by creating those still lives and, just learning basic drawing techniques, it furthered me in that passion for art and made me realize that I can make something of myself with that art education. And that is something I am so thankful for, because I probably wouldn't be the same happy person I am now. I would probably be miserable in this predestined path for me to make money. and with that passion that was inspired in me by them and by this art department, I am so excited for my future and so happy in what I do and drawing every day, building my poetry strengths, and even in my writing. It has inspired so much of my writing by unlocking this creative aspect of my mind. And all of our teachers, Mrs. Taylor, Dr. Lance, Mrs. Caballero, and everybody, they are just so supportive of us. and give us so many opportunities in competitions and in art galleries to really prove ourselves. I'm not sure if any of you were at the Artery last weekend, but just seeing the pride that on children's faces, on kids' faces my age, that pride in their work of what they have created solely and individually, it's something so irreplaceable and beautiful that I'm not sure what this world would be without that type of passion and love. And that's what they have inspired within us, is that dedication to our art, that knowing that we can make a better place and that the world is so much more than something economical or money-wise or, based on what everybody wants us to do. It's what we want to do. And the art that we create, inspired by our wonderful teachers in this beautiful program, is truly changing lives and making people so much more happier than they already were. So again, thank you so much, you guys, for giving us that opportunity into knowing who we are and into what we want to become. Thank you.
I think I'm just going to throw away the speech.
No, that was it. Your passion is contagious. I just hope that every student you come into contact with acquires a little bit of your enthusiasm for art. Because I walk around our schools, they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. I see the work that our students produce, and I'm just amazed at the talent. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I have an 8-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old daughter. They both do very well educationally. My oldest daughter, Shady, she very much like yourself. She learned from my wife. My wife's an artist. She went to college for it. She graduated. She went to another college for a different type of thing. My house is kind of like, there's always something everywhere. It's just like, I can't get anybody to paint the wall. But everything else, everybody gets painted. But my daughter reminds me of you and your enthusiasm. My daughter could get straight A's and not care. When she went to the middle school, Delaware Valley Middle School, first month there, she became an artist of the month. She got a little pictures. That child, I've never seen that child beam so much. He's so proud. So you say you're very proud of your work. That's a great thing to see my 2 little daughters. And they both learn again. They learn here at Delaware Valley, and they learn from my wife. And Ms. Thompson, when your mother friended me on Facebook, all of a sudden you started showing up on your artwork. And I've watched you progress. I've never met you, but I kind of feel like I know you.
Yes, you too.
And I would sit there, come home from work, open up my phone and go through my Facebook and I'd, Dad, look at what she's done now, So your artwork has been shown between my daughters and everything, and you did the autism there.
I did a counting before this.
The Down syndrome experience, right? My daughters saw that. And it's like they know who you are, and you've never met them either. So I've always been really impressed with your work. It's really tremendous. And with yourself, too. Very, very, I'm impressed, let's just say that. Thank you both for being here, for your enthusiasm. It's great, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think it has come full circle for them.
I'd like to get a photo of the young lady.
Wonderful, sure. They're going to pass out their note cards first. Can they do that? Yes.
I make service.
So Stephanie, when we retire, can you please fire an adult art class, because I don't need that. Seriously.
I don't know who's going to fill your shoes.
There's 2 of them right there.
The entire department is really wonderful, but I'd like to say a very special thank you to you personally for everything that you've done for the department over the course of years. This is one of my favorite nights when I get these little packet of notes to take home. I will remember that always, and I'll always remember art in PV long after I'm off this board. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. And I, like I said, I only feel lucky because I work here. I worked here my whole life. It's been my passion, and I work with great people. My 11 of us are teachers, we just all have the same passion for what we do, so it doesn't happen all by itself, so thank you.
Thank you for your leadership.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'd like to is that, again, I know Delaware Valley academics will graduate some brilliant minds out of our school system. We'll graduate some brilliant scientists, and some engineers, and some mathematicians. But without art, you'd be graduating some very boring students. Without art, literature, music, without the liberal arts. And there'd be no, America's always been great in our inventiveness. And this is what you do, you nurture these minds. On behalf of my daughters, I'd like to thank you for what I've seen in them and the exploration that goes on through.
Thank you.
Creativity.
We're just grateful that we're here and that we have people that support us and believe the same thing.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the ladies here tonight for the art department, we appreciate it very much. Our next presentation, I asked Don Flynn from BDA Architects to come forward and talk about the CapEx and CPE projects.
So thanks. The bids on the miscellaneous 2018 project were opened on March 6th. Unfortunately, they were significantly over budget, nearly $500,000. The reason why we're still not sure. Some of it's attributed to some scope creep. There were some things that were added in order to complete the project to make it whole. I think some of it is attributed to the size of the projects and how it was put together. So we're digging into that a little bit more, but our recommendation at this point is to not accept the bids and to reject them. What we'd like to do is repackage them in a different manner, take some of the items and put it into the CTE project. So we're working with larger projects, larger scope, and we expect to see some efficiencies with that. A few of the other items we're suggesting in some of the other schools, the outlying schools, that we postpone them 1 year and package them again with some of the other projects so that in those individual buildings, instead of a single item being done, there's a group of things being done. So it becomes a little more attractive for some of the contractors. Mentioned the CTE project. We met today to review the 50% budgets that were produced by the construction manager. Presently, the number is roughly $400,000 over what we had allotted. That number does include nearly $700,000 in design contingencies and construction contingencies. So if you were to take them out, we would actually be under the budget. That said, though, we're not, resting on that. We're looking at value engineering items. So, for example, we have proposed a brick facade on the building. The contractor, construction manager is suggesting that we use a concrete block product and that we could save roughly $50,000. So it's going to perform the same, give you the same weather tightness, but it'll look aesthetically different. There are areas of your buildings that have the same product, so we feel we can make that look as a cohesive, unit with the building. So things like that we're going through right now. And roughly, they've identified nearly $160,000 worth of items like that, so we're evaluating those. Also, bid alternates. They pointed out several things that we could look to bid as an alternate, so that on bid day, if the numbers are a little high, we could take deducts to get the project into scope. So something like that would be refinishing the parking lot. Right now, we're scheduled to have that back parking lot milled and resurfaced. So we'll create a deduct that will switch that to a seal coating, and that could save roughly $160,000 there, just not doing that product. So something that you'll be pushing down the line, but it doesn't have to be done right now. So this will allow us on bid day to make sure we have a project that is within the budgets that were assigned. And then the other thing that they're working in now is a constructability review. So they're going through our drawings and looking for items that are conflicting or possible omissions, so that we have a more complete set of documents when we do go out to bid. So they're going to provide us with that information later this week, tomorrow actually, and we'll be able to incorporate that into the document so that it will help eliminate any change orders and therefore reduce the need for that construction contingency later. We are roughly 3 weeks out from being complete with the drawings. The expectation is that we would bid the project in April, and then in early May for your work session, we'll have bids back for you to review on the project. So, and that's a summary of where we're at with both projects, and if you have to answer any questions you may have.
How often have you seen bids come over that much? Does that happen?
No, I mean, that was, we haven't had that happen with this group or in my, I can't think of the last time we were off by that much.
Might be some anomaly, like.
Well, there's one example is like the science rooms. When, if you recall how we put that together, we took an example of a science room that we did last year. Well, this particular, our science rooms have an extra fume hood, so there's an extra exhaust fan. There's because of the type of mechanical system, we have a makeup air unit, and then we had to replace the air handling unit on the roof, things that we didn't do in other projects. So I didn't have that budgeted correctly, and that happens to 2 rooms. So that was one area. The other one that was way off was the mechanical system. We were replacing the boiler, and you know, we have not been able to establish why that number is so far off. So if we do reject the bids, I'll have the opportunity to speak to one of the contractors that did bid it and kind of get to the bottom of it to see if there was something that was in the design that was off, or whether the number was just flat out bad.
And the final timeline.
Yeah, so what'll happen is that if we do what we're suggesting, the 2 science rooms that were going to be done this summer would be in the project so that it's bid this next month, so the cost gets fixed, but the work won't happen until summer of 19. So the downside here is your science rooms won't get done until 19 instead of 18.
We're going to do some in 18 and some in 19 now. This is a month or so behind schedule because we're not accepting bids.
Well, first off, the block, can we get like a visual of what that looks like versus?
Yeah, so if you go behind now and look at the construction that was done in the late 80s, the middle school construction, it'll look similar to that. So it's a ground face and split face block combination with some brick mixed in into it. So we'll have the elevations of that prior, so you'll be able to see that, but it's going to match that side of the building as opposed to the front side. And it'll, the point where we break, it'll be around the corner, so when you're looking at it, it's not going to look like 2 separate things. It'll blend into the building. Aesthetically, I have no trouble. I'm confident that'll look right.
For the 9-10 high school and middle school, we have that. So if you could say fee, possibly after. Yes.
Not so much a block.
Yeah, it's not going to look like this gray block. It's a decorative block. It has a finish to it.
It's just out of the process of building first.
We don't want to go with first.
The mechanical bit, how many contractors bid on that?
There were 3 on the mechanical. They were all, that was the thing, they were all in that $800,000 range. They all were coming from further away, so they were out of town. The one who was local, Holmesville, doesn't usually do mechanical work that large, so, and the other 2 were from down near Hazleton and Bloomsburg was the other, so they were traveling a good way.
I just know the construction is really good now. When I used to, when times were good and project like that would go up, a lot of the times we didn't need the project, so you throw out an astronomically high number.
Exactly.
If you got it, it was great, and if you didn't, well, you didn't need the right kind of, I was just wondering.
Right, and that's why we want to put the boilers in with the CCD project, because now you have a project where there's probably $1.5 million worth of mechanical work, so it's going to attract larger contractors. So adding a $300,000 boiler is not the project, it's just a piece of the bigger project. So that's the,
They can do it more efficient.
there are going to have people here, and, right, it's not a big deal.
The only question I have is the payment when we do the payment, when we split it, will we be able to split that from our bond, or do we have to, from the CTE bond, to go to the court, or the CTE?
The way the bond issue is worded, is CPE and any other projects as approved, right? So that's
But the money that we would put aside for the capital would work. We would take that and transfer it back in.
We will account for CTE, under CTE, we'll account for the cost of the boiler, for example, under what we approved it as the 2018 miscellaneous.
And we were already doing some science rooms as part of the CTE project, so we had already planned on breaking the big summaries down so that we had line items to reflect that. So you won't have just one big number, you'll have that number and then what each of these things cost, so that Bill can then pull them out of the CTE number and pay for them out of this other account.
Just for my own, because my percentage gets on that.
On the boiler itself? Yeah, we can give you a spec on the boiler.
So I've been Delaware Valley Elementary School, we had a little issue of I was very impressed with the choice, it was a great choice.
I'd like to take credit for that, but that was the engineers doing, but we can get to the data on that.
You know, when you look at that efficiency, I'm like, that's
The building envelope, it was what was really impressive, how it was still 60 degrees a day after the boiler was down.
great insulation. And what's the guy's name there? Chris, very inventive mind on how he kept that temperature up.
Yeah.
Deserves a lot of credit. Okay,
Any other questions? All right. Thanks. Yep.
Okay, before we go forward, I have to apologize. I want to thank Mrs. Bixby, the staff of Sherman Elementary School for putting out this great tonight and hosting us. You know, so accommodating. It was, I love coming up here. So I'd like to thank you on behalf of the board. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting held on February 15th, 2018? Motion?
Sorry.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. Reports, student representative report. Mr. Fagan.
So, first off, I haven't been here the past 2 times. I had senior wrestling in January, and then like 9 years also, and I had the conference I spoke at. But if you're back, a slow month because of all the snow, but activity-wise, it's been hard to do anything with all the snow. The biggest thing that we had SAT still this Saturday, even though we have the Northeastern. And in sports-wise, swimming won the district championships for both boys and girls. The boys won the league title. And for wrestling, we won the league district title, and we competed at Team States 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. And we, the individual wrestlers and swimmers, compete these past 2 weeks. Nobody plays, but still we sent, I think, 4 or 5 from swimming and then 3 from wrestling, so still an accomplishment. And you know, it's late March, we're getting closer to prom season and AP, so that's about, what's exciting in high school. And that's about it.
There's one other exciting thing, you know, he's here tonight, can you tell us, I forgot the name, where are you in school?
Naval Academy, I found out January 15th that I got in, so.
Awesome. You were able to make you blush a little bit when you're here, so bring it up again.
We should call him Admiral for the rest of the year.
I see where Mike.
Well, my dad's working, so.
I have to do the work. You gotta do.
Yeah, I already put the bumper sticker on my car, so.
It's awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Mr. Fagan, I was very impressed by what I saw yesterday. Strong and Dr. Blum worked on that, showed some leadership, a lot of leadership, showed positivity, trying to make something good out of a bad situation. The tragedy happened in Florida. I think he was very good on your part, showing leadership to your class and to your high school. See what's going on. Hope you pass on. I was was impressed.
Thank you.
It's nice to see.
Yeah, we met with Dr. Baum, I think, 2 or 3 times about that, and, I know, like, in the past, we didn't hear much about it, but as we got closer and closer to that, day that was, advertised, people started talking more about it, but that was just a plan we came up with, and that was definitely the larger market of Dr. Baum, what he had to say, and just what we've heard from the students too, because it's especially hard with, having all this time off and like people not having anything to focus on, it just kind of blew up, and then that's just how it got handled itself.
Yourself, classmates, very impressed.
Yeah, we're looking to do like maybe voter registration this spring. I know Rachel's Challenge is looking to do some stuff too. Once the Columbine anniversary comes in later April, so there's definitely things that we'll do in response to it. So.
Continue good work. Dr. Obleski always says to people, you make us look good, right? That's right. And you and your classmates and your fellow students, you really, really make the
Thank you.
Okay. Administrative and attendance reports. Are there any comments on the administrative reports or the attendance report?
One question for Dr. Schaefer. A new data management tool connected to Power School. Can you explain a little bit about it? It looks great.
Great. Well, we currently have a program called SchoolNet that's connected to Power School, but it's not necessarily very user friendly. And formerly we used a program called Compass Tracker that was a lot. The interface was just easier to upload and access data than put in there. So the teachers will still be able to use the system in Power School to run multi-sheets, to do online testing and so on. But the new interface system will actually be much more accessible to teachers to run reports, see where the kids are in terms of the data tracking and mapping. But also for us, we're uploading large files. Dr. Rousseau is very adept at taking spreadsheets and turning them into CSV files. Mr. Mitchell and I, not so much. So, and the system that we're currently using is extremely cumbersome. We went through a lot of training, and I think you need a statistical PhD. Mine is not in statistics, in educational administration. I think Mr. Johnson is in partially so this new system will be a lot easier for us. They came out and did the demonstrations to the entire administrative team. I'm going to say 3 weeks ago, it's lost now, and it just there's a comfort level. It's much more ease of use, and it has a lot more data. Analysis and easy, it's just the reports is only you gather. You can run reports in so many different ways. It's not linear. There's a lot more going on.
So we're able to drill down individual classrooms and build up to the schools or district-wide, students map down, students.
Standard, and once we get the data in there, you can track students over time.
Excellent.
Which was what people, the system that we have right now doesn't, the system that we had before made it much easier, so that our school psychologists, when they're writing reports, it was ease of use. They could go in and see a student from kindergarten through 12th grade, and it was very, very easy to use. The current system is a lot more difficult. It's more difficult to upload data and more difficult to access. So we're just looking forward to really getting a much better system.
And it's involved in Power School. It's part of the module.
That's really cool. We had a forest tracker.
Long ago.
2002, we had a forest tracker, but it didn't necessarily play around with Power School. So it was just but Power, so we were using the Power School product, which was a user product. Power School bought a forest tracker. So now they like it relevant, they're simplifying it. So now we got the product we used to have, and we like much more, and it plays well with Power School. So now it's good again.
There's third-party integrations are always like that. It's so one piece.
So we got really lucky.
Yeah,
The fact that we are looking at the data easier is that we need that so much more data available for the school psychologists, for the teachers, for the administrators, plan, instruction.
I mean, if it's not good for the user, it's not good at all. I mean, there's no point of it. So it's perfect.
And on the single intervention too, you won't have to go in multiple different systems in order to get the student data. So we have that in place for the next school.
And if Jim wants to turn out, volunteer.
It's still my accident.
So professional development workshops. Great.
Are there any comments on the financial report? On the superintendent report, Mr. Bell?
Very quickly. This Saturday is the OM Regionals at Pocono Mountain West. And the teams that survived for the regionals in the states. I told Mr. Hessel the good news that they're at Pocono Mountain East, and they're going all the way to Pittsburgh for the Champions League. Coach buses, local hotels. So we're thrilled that the states are here as well. Good luck to all the teams this Saturday. Also this Saturday is our Rotary Hoop Shoot, which was canceled from 2 weeks ago. So that's at all 3 elementaries, England Elementary, Shuttle Elementary, EB Elementary, from 10 until noon on Saturday. In your packets tonight, your folders, there's just a one-page flyer about PSBA Advocacy Day. If advocacy is your thing, it's April 16th, and 20th, aware of that. And then there's also a packet of information about education savings account vouchers. Most people know about 529 plans when you put money away for college for your kids. But in the tax reform in Washington, now you can put away thousands and thousands of dollars for private school education under K-12. And over 100 school districts in Pennsylvania have passed a resolution opposing Senate Bill 2, which is all about these education savings accounts. So this is in your packet, it's about a 4-page document about the bill. And there's also a sample resolution that if you wanted to do something in the April meeting, if you guys want to read it, or if it's something you want to do, we can put it on the agenda, it'd be a resolution opposing education savings account voucher program, Senate Bill 2, by the Board of Directors of the Brookline School District. So just FYI, read it and let us know. If it's something you guys are interested in, we will put it on the agenda. If not, we'll let it rest. And then the only other thing I have for you is that the IU budget book is in your folder tonight, and it's a big document. There's a lot of information about it. What you need to know is our share of the general operating budget only goes up $836. So that's it. So all you're reading is read as much as you want, but that's the thing we figured out, $836.
It's about 34,600.
All right, yeah. Oh, you're good. $34,697. And how many cents? No. That's good. You're right on the number. 71 cents. So everybody goes up 2.5%, but for us it's only $846.
They have 25 different pages.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they have to go
This
through
is a small, this is just like 1.6 of the total. About 1.6 of the total budget. Operating cost.
Yeah. That's all I have for you.
Okay. May I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion to accept the bills for payment, which include the general fund, cafeteria fund, capital reserve fund, and the 2017 construction fund?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objection, the motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the personnel items, including resignations, appointment, child rearing leaves, and change of salary? The retirement resignations accepted with regret.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objection, the motion carries. Item 9, approvals, items for approval. May I have a motion to approve the Colonial Intermediate Unit Number 20 General Operating Budget for 2018-2019, including administrative services, curriculum development services, management services, and instructional material services? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objection, the motion carries. Are we being televised now? It's just what everybody in the district is going to wait. B, may I have a motion to approve the change 2017-2018 school calendar as follows. March 29, April 2nd, June 14, June 15, 2018 school days. June 18th, 2018, be a school half-day for students in grades K to 11. June 19 and June 20, 2018 will become school days if needed.
Just to summarize, we had.
Oh, sorry, I gotta have a motion and a second. Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
We're currently at, I can't believe what I'm saying, we're at 16 use studies. We had 11 allocated, so that puts us -5. So if the board wants us to stay at that number of 180, then we have to add 5 days back in. So that's the 5 days. It's the Thursday of spring recess and Monday of spring recess. And then it's the Thursday and Friday. School is supposed to get out on a Wednesday, June 13th. Now we do Thursday and Friday. Graduation will still be Friday night the 15th. But seniors are only required to have 177 days. While everybody else, their magic number is 180. So this would allow, we could have the kids up to 11th grade to come back on Monday for a half day. If that storm comes next week, that's when June 19th and possibly June 20th could come in. So we approve it now, so we don't have to revisit it every month. If we need them, we approve, but if we don't, we don't have to do anything.
So I just have one question. So if June 19th and June 20th, hopefully we don't get any snow, but if we did get snow, would then the 18th become a full day, or would we do 3 days?
Yeah, the half day would be whatever is the last day.
So we would then do a different approval? Would we have?
People are getting rid of it, but we could also just put it on there, I just say we're going to change this to a 4.5. And technically, we didn't even have to do April 29th I'm sorry, we didn't even technically have to approve March 29th and April 2nd tonight, because when you approved the original calendar, you said we could use those days. But I thought if you didn't put them all at once, it would be confusing, because they originally you did those days, so we spelled it out.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of board members who contacted me, quite a few, about what they all have different levels you want to keep. I think what I always try to keep in my head is board member Jack Fisher, who just left this board. He used to always put in his email, "Stay strong for DV," always about DV excellence. And that always impressed me when I came on board and I started getting emails from Jack Fisher. So I always try to keep that. Tonight, as I drove down here from Monticello for my job, I think my son John must have changed this 4 times. And Julie doesn't want to talk to either one of us anymore after that. But what this does is I think everybody took a lot of things into consideration. This will allow the seniors to graduate when they had planned to graduate. But it will keep the DV excellence of 180 days of education. So that was my personal concern. I know others have been said concern. I think this is, we normally always just accept the recommendation of you yourself. This time this was a unique situation, and we didn't get to all communicate because everything was down. It's the 15th of March, and what is this, the 3rd or 4th day we've been in school. So I am very happy with this, and I hope it shows the public that it's reasonable and it's responsible.
I would just like to add, as a long time advocate for special education, probably most of my adult life, I would just like to say it's going to be hard enough for regular students participating in regular education to make up this loss, but think of our students in special education. Very hard for them to come back. So I really appreciate the consideration and the
So just to clarify, June 18th which is the Monday following graduation, would be a half day for everybody.
Yes, if we don't have any more snow.
If we don't have any
If we
more.
have more snow days, then it becomes a full day.
All except the seniors, because the seniors will graduate
Right,
on
they're
Friday
gonna-
night, and once they graduate, we cannot bring them back in.
Yeah, yeah.
If they have graduated, they go.
So it'll be a half day on Monday.
Yeah, whatever the last day of school is, will be a half day. We're moving it to that Monday, so if we have another snowstorm, then the 18th will become full and the 19th goes, you know, the traditional half day.
Okay, gotcha.
So that'll just bump to wherever the last day is. The half day will bump, but we certainly can codify it at a future meeting.
Yeah, we can.
But at least people know what the plan is, and where we're going.
And this maintains Good Friday as a day off.
Yes.
And that's March 30th.
That was a big concern to a lot of people. And granted, the children who don't get a full Easter or a spring recess, but at least they get a 3-day weekend. And do something different.
And just so you guys know, the history of school code said 180 days, and at a period, different times, the legislature stepped in. The blizzard of 96, the blizzard of 93, and they stepped in and gave waivers of the 180 days. And then what they did is they passed a law that's effective at the beginning of the 2015-2016 school year. The secretary, they gave the authority to the Secretary of Education to allow school districts to apply that less than 180 days, as long as they meet the hourly requirements, which is $900 for elementary, $990 for secondary. We'll hit 990 around day 175, so that can be absolutely minimum. But it can be for 3 instances. It can be because of weather emergencies, it can be because of safety, which was the issue they used when Eric Crane played really heavy, and or medical, like if there's a contagious issue going on and you don't want to expose the kids, and that's the 3 things. So if you apply to the Secretary of Ed under those 3 things and state your case, you can waive your 180, but you still have to meet your 990 hours.
So you're not moving graduation currently. If we have any more snow days, will you move graduation or will you keep it
Now, under this plan, you can have another 2 more snow days
and still not
and
move
still not
graduation?
have to move graduation.
Thank you.
The high schoolers need 177 days, middle school and elementary.
Seniors, actually. The seniors only have to be 177.
We've got all this.
So at least 2 more days before you have to try and move graduation. Gotcha. Thank you.
And even what could happen theoretically is if we, God forbid, we had 3 more snow days and we had to have 4 days of school that week, you can simply have school without seniors. You just wouldn't get credit for them because that would be the 4th day that they were missing. And you just wouldn't get credit for their attendance. That's all. But our attendance is really good because we've only had 2 other days and 2 early dismissals. Normally, so that's a total of 4 disruptions. Normally, by this time of year, we're around 12 to 15 disruptions. So our attendance is really good. So our attendance is usually 4 like 3 on the days. So we should, our average daily attendance number, which should be really good this year.
What is the actual date of graduation?
Friday, June 15th. And if you did go to school less, just so you know also, if you go to school for less than 180 days for the students, the teachers still have to fulfill their contractual days. So we have days where the teachers don't come back without the kids, but they have to still fulfill their obligation. That's one of the stipulations from the state.
You considered possibly talking about a 3-hour delay? I know a lot of schools in New York have gone to it this year. I don't know like what the outcome has been, if they've had less closings because of it or.
It depends what your priority is. Is your priority 180 days or is your priority construction?
Right.
Because I ask people the trivia question, which one of these scenarios do you lose the most construction time? 2-hour delay? When we go home an hour and a half early, or a snow day? People say, that's easy, it's a snow day. And I say, no, that's incorrect, because on a snow day, you do not lose any instruction time, you can just make that day out. But a 2-hour delay or early dismissal, you never make it out. So they are actually the biggest loss is 2-hour delay than the early dismissal. So I go trick people on it, just like the guy goes to the weather in baseball, it's just real. I trick them on that.
John, one of the things that came to my mind when I think of how hard some of us have worked in the past toward the funding formula, we've traveled across the state giving speeches and supporting people, to improve the formula for the school districts. And we benefited from the costing out study, I believe, $3 million worth of benefit. And my question is, when we were doing all of that, were we fighting for 180 days or hours?
Well, back then, they didn't have this waiver, when they passed these waivers to the legislature, they were only specific for that single school. Now you have the option that they treat it the same, that you need 180 or 99, you consider you fulfilled your obligation for your full. So now you have 2 ways to get to the full payment.
So we're probably looking at days. And I just don't trust our legislators. If we start taking 6 days off here and 6 days off there, we're gonna turn around and say, why do we need to continue working on this funding formula? You're taking days off school. and
Well, the most
days off
frustrating
school.
thing for me is and John thinks he calls me all over the place. Those couple days where, especially the days when Ball Pack and Hook on Mountain closed, and we took a lot of heat for staying open. We were in a lockout situation, we had the sheriff's department. We did all those measures to still have school, because we felt that was the right thing to do, because what if they don't find them day 1, or day 2, or 30 days or whatever. They got all those days back, because it was considered safety, so they got all those days back and got their full meeting. And we were killing ourselves to make sure we did everything to
Well, they also
stay.
don't have the scores we have either. Only they don't like them off.
Yeah.
So we don't want to pay that price.
Yeah. But it's frustrating that we did all that work and then we got
I was
nothing.
doing that this morning.
And we lost money that year because like that first day, Mickey's building, Kim's building, they were down around 82%, not the normal 94%. So we did lose money by doing it and they didn't, so that was frustrating.
I don't want to further the discussion on this, but I would like to make a comment. Many people have said to me, other schools are doing this, and my answer is, we are not other schools, we are Delaware Valley. That's a great testament to the administration, the teachers, the staff, everyone, the bus drivers, everybody here. I wasn't willing to go less than 180 days, because I care about, like we do this because we care about children. I don't want my daughters or any other child in our district to not have this for 6 days or 5 days. I see the teachers coming in, I see the principals, I see the administration, I see the presentations like tonight. And I would feel that if I gave a child less than that, of what you every day, your staff, your teachers, your principals, I'd be robbing that kid. And it's so good what's here. I don't want to take that away from the child for 5 days, or for 4 days, or for 3, 2, 1. So I know I was kind of adamant in my own position. That's a great testament to the employees of the Delaware Valley School System, because that's what they give to my children and all the other children. So that's why I was the way I was. I don't want my child not having this. I'm glad every single day that my children go to this school. And that all comes from you, Dr. Bell, and the folks explaining.
Michael, Mark? May I just add, I really appreciate that you protected that graduation day. I like how you liked it, everything. Thank you.
There's a rules and way, right?
Yeah.
And that was rough. That's
Thank
a
you for
very
listening
emotional thing.
to us and listening to the public.
Julie? Wait a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objections, the motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the school hours for the 2018-2019 school year? Delaware Valley High School, 8 a.m. to 2:38 p.m. Delaware Valley Middle School, 8 a.m. to 2:38 p.m. Dingman Delaware Middle School, 8 a.m. to 2:38 p.m. Delaware Valley Elementary School, 9:05 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Dingman Delaware Elementary School, 9:05 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Shahola Elementary School, 9:05 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Dingman Delaware Primary School, 9:10 a.m. to 3:35 p.m. Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
I don't know how I'm gonna get my kid out by any, I'll work on it though.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objection, the motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the recommendation to reject all of the March 6, 2018 bids for miscellaneous 2018 capital improvements / renovations?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Sorry, any discussion? I'm sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objection, the motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the request for the waiver of rental fees for the following organizations subject to approved insurance? The League of Women Voters of Pike County to use the Dingman Delaware Middle School Auditorium on April 17, 2018, rescheduled for March 19, 2018, for the panel discussion on school funding at a loss of rental fees of approximately $200.
So moved.
Any discussion?
Is this, didn't we just approve it? So we approved March and now we're just re-approving because their date changed.
What is this panel discussion on school funding? Does everyone know?
Mr. Mitchell, you and I, and a couple of past governors, no, it's, the League of Women Voters asked if we talked about different school funding. Did she get back to you about any of the other people on the panel? I haven't heard yet.
No, she did tell me she was gonna try to get some representatives from East Stroudsburg North and also Lowell.
So they invited the two of us to sit on the panel, to talk about school funding. So we'll be talking about HB 76 and different modification to that. I'm sure that the ESA vouchers, they will come out, we have to do this education city panel. Charter school funding and reform, and other topics.
Senate Bill 2.
Senate Bill 2 is this one. And so there's a variety of different bills going on right now, so they want to have to go on, so we said we can try to do it.
Thanks. Got any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing no objection, the motion carries. Mr. Fagan, I'm sorry, you don't have to stay.
No worries. My mom's here for the show all the time too.
Just
So.
stay.
Thanks for both.
Please note in the minutes that the following policies are under order, under review. Policy number 214, class rank. Policy number 216.1, supplemental discipline records. Policy number 802, school organization. Policy number 816, data breach. Policy number 819, website development. Policy number 822, automated external defibrillator, AED. Policy number 907, school visitors. Policy number 908, relations with parent guardians. Policy number 912, relations with educational institutions. Is there any other business from the board? That we brought forward, any other discussion?
Yeah, Jack, just one thing, I think we would be remiss if we didn't recognize Mr. Bell's leadership during this recent emergency, keeping the wellness centers open for the community, providing that backup service that we all needed. It was a pretty tough time. A lot of stressed out people still. So thank you, Jim.
Yeah, that last message that you were able to send out, I think comforted a lot of people, the way you explained it as well. So I agree, absolutely.
A lot of people are volunteering a lot of time. Even when they didn't have power in their own homes, and they came out, volunteers, I thank our crew for that.
Thank you.
I brought my daughters down, and I promise you, I just wanted on record that I did not eat any of the donuts. Any of the free donuts.
I don't know, I'm gonna look at the film.
And that's a tremendous accomplishment. But, many of the board members have heard me say this, how important it is, I feel, that I know from my own personal experience, my wife doesn't want to hear me say something, she wants to hear it come from Dr. Bell.
My wife got here for you and me.
But again, John, I'd just like to stress the importance of that when we do that. Immediately after you did that, so many people contacted me and said, please tell Dr. Bell how comforting that was. I think what it is, John. And it's comforting and reassuring to hear your voice. So thank you for that. And thank
So
you.
Dr. Bell, are you going to get on the horn and let them know about what we decided tonight?
No, I don't think so. I usually say those are ridiculous. The Freem, the Hurricane Sandy. I like the Hurricane, they only hear from me when there's trouble.
Okay, is there any business? Any business from the public? Announcements, meeting scheduled for April 2018. What are we doing before this?
Okay, so she's available, we want to do that.
So what should I read?
No, April 12th, it'll be at the library.
So will I read that as at the library?
Yeah.
Okay. The April 12th, 2018 work session, begin at 7 p.m. The Pike County Library, Milford, Pennsylvania. April 19th, 2018 regular meeting, 7 p.m. at Delaware Valley Administrative Offices. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I have a question.
Yes.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
And a commentary, maybe directed, not necessarily to the board, but to Dr. Bell. Any thoughts about, I understand on Wednesday, a lot of schools nationwide participated in the walkout with regards to the question of school security amid the problems of gun violence. And, I've heard conflicting thoughts about it, one of which might have been about the fact that there was so much time off from school already that idea was discouraged. But I want to get your specific thought about it. I understand that the schools did not advocate it. The district did not advocate a walkout. I know many schools did, but I understand there may have been reasons or not. But could you share maybe your thoughts about that?
Sure. First of all, there's a board policy that prohibits student protests or student walkouts. It dates back many decades to the 1980s, I believe. Second of all, Dr. Blum and our student leaders have been working on this for weeks to find out, just walking out and standing by the flagpole doesn't really accomplish very much. So what could we do that would be productive? And if you look at go to the website of the high school, there's a detailed letter there from Dr. Blum and student leaders about some of the things they've done. And Shane had mentioned voter registration drive, crafting letters to Congressman Marino. That will be hand-delivered by Dr. Blum and Dr. Purcell next week when they're in Washington. Lots of activities from our friends at Rachel's Challenge Group. That's not today. So we were trying to find things that actually were meaningful, as opposed to just some kids who wanted to get out of class. Oh yeah, our AP American Literature class, there was a nationwide letter writing campaign, and when the kids at Parkland came back on that Tuesday, back to school, there were letters from schools all over the country, including ours, welcoming them back to school and expressing their sorrow. So when they came back, it was an AP World History class. Those letters, including letters from DDHS, our AP kids to their AP. They're waiting for us, because we really didn't cool. And that's on our homepage if you want to read more about that as well. So go to the high school page for the list of things we're doing. Go to the district homepage, and you can read about the letter writing campaign.
That went to the students in the Florida school? Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, so when they came back on that Tuesday, I think it was, the letters back in February, the letters were waiting for them. The teacher got them in the mail, and she put them on their desk, and when they came to AP World History, the letters were waiting for them from kids from all over America. It's really, really cool.
My other question is, I know you had mentioned at previous meeting that there might be some thought about steps, measures taken beyond the security cameras, things, and I don't know what they were because I know you kind of left that as a general thought, so I don't know how to direct the question, but I know there was some thought about maybe addressing preparation against those kind of things, additional preparation within the school, within the district?
We've, Mr. Gordon talked about it during the budget session, but we've collected ideas from all over the place. From community residents, from staff members, from board members. We put together a gigantic list of ideas. There are some things that could happen pretty quickly and cost effectively, so we've already put them in place. But we have a huge list of one-time expenses of things that we're gonna bring to the board very soon for consideration. And then there's some other things that could have ongoing costs, and that would be if it was to add any personnel. So we're looking to see how the budget shapes out. But I'm not prepared to announce any of them in public for obvious reasons. Some will be visible once they go in place. You know, when a visitor comes to school, they'll notice changes over the course of, you know, the short term, and the long term, but I just don't think we're still on the stage where we're trying to figure out, okay, if we have this much money, how many of these things can we do? And how many of these things can we do because they're not very expensive? We're still in place, but we have changed some of our safety protocols already. Because every time, I hate to say it, but every time one of these things happens, you learn. Maybe you kind of learn about another vulnerability, because really, if you study these shootings that we've done, no two are alike. So you learn something from every one. I can point at different things and say, we did that after Columbine. We did this after Sandy Hook. We did this after Jonesboro, Arkansas. So we learned from this one too, unfortunately.
Has there been any, just a closing question, if I could please, maybe to you and to the board, has there been any thought or decision made with regards to either a disposition or policy thought of the idea floated from the White House about teachers possibly, I guess there are two thoughts on this from what I understand from reports I've heard on TV and seen and also read. One idea was to have teachers who are already highly qualified in the use of firearms to be allowed to bear arms in school because they come from that background, either military background or police background, whatever it may be.
Wait, can I stop you? This is a gun-free zone. This is Pennsylvania state statute. And even though if a person walked in right now with a full carry permit, they are not allowed to say court with that full carry permit. There's an exemption in the state statute. I can send you the state statute. And the other places are in a gun-free zone on a school. The only way, what the legal clause of this is that you have to have a legal reason for doing this. The only person that is allowed to carry a weapon, a gun, in a school-free zone is a resource officer or police officer that have completed their Act 120. So, the question about would we ever consider arming teachers or would teachers want to be armed, it's a moot point because Pennsylvania law doesn't allow.
So it's a state law as far as, okay. I'm sorry?
The ball is in the state's court, it's not our decision.
Okay.
Can I answer? I'm sorry. Can I just this gentleman's question about the walkout day? I just want to make sure I think it's important to know that what Dr. Blum and the students, Sean was one of them, developed in this big conversation with all the students wasn't just find some alternative because we can't go walk out on the lawn. I think what they determined to do was much better than walking out onto the lawn. And there's a lot of good reasons not to have students walk out on the lawn. It's not because the board doesn't appreciate their activism or their concern with current events. There's a lot of good reasons not to walk out on the lawn in the middle of the day. But I think I talked to Dr. Blum about this earlier. I think the plan that he and the students came up with after a lot of discussion was a much more meaningful and effective plan of action than a lot of other schools did.
Dave.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the particulars. You said there was board policy that prohibits.
There's a board policy that prohibits student protests and walkouts.
And walkouts.
And that dates back many decades.
Does that not violate the First Amendment?
Well, you have different First Amendment rights when you're in school in local parentis under us versus your First Amendment rights when you're outside of school. Same as at work. You have different rights in what you can do on your own time or what you can do when you're on the job. There's similar guidelines for us.
I can't yell fire in a movie theater. Okay? I can't yell fire in a movie theater.
Right.
All right? And that's not protected on my.
As long as you don't have to yell duck in school.
I also can't walk out of a secured, locked facility at any one time and leave the door wide open for anyone to walk in if it would jeopardize the danger of someone else. I don't have that right. That's not covered under the First Amendment. So we had students walking out of all these different doors that you heard tonight, how our security systems are and how our locks work.
Right.
And how we're.
No, I'm not advocating anything, Jack. I'm just
Yeah, no,
asking
I'm
a
just
question.
trying to explain it to you, that the First Amendment rights only cover a certain amount of things. And this policy that we have in place, well, it dates almost. It's been on this,
And I'll tell you, we had a concern with the fact that all across the country, they were announcing that at 10 o'clock on March 14th, kids are going to empty out of buildings, and that who knows what kind of crazy people could come. You know, just like we always talk about, one of our biggest fears is dismissal. When there's 2,000 kids heading to the buses, it's organized chaos. So if we're going to announce to the whole country that we're going to empty out at 10 a.m., that's a vulnerability. And we had a guy show up the other day who we were very concerned about. We didn't know who he was. He approached students and then started taking pictures of them without permission. So that was just one bizarre thing that happened in our little town.
And as John mentioned earlier, we did have a situation with Area Green, and I remember going from campus to campus to campus following John. And I'd get to one campus and say John was ahead. But we had so many people out there waiting and watching and protecting our children to come in off a bus and stuff like that. So we're a little bit different. Those districts around here that did go through that Area Green thing, we're a little different than the others. You know? Those are memories etched in the back of our minds. So maybe we are a little bit more cautious about walking out through the front door.
And a lot of schools did do indoor activities for that same reason. Many schools around the country were concerned about going outdoors, so they did indoor activities in their gyms, in their auditoriums, in their cafeterias, and things of that nature. So we weren't the only
Did you
one.
consider that here?
Well, we had a variety of things going on, you know, but we chose that, we don't have to disrupt school time to do a voter registration time. That can be done during the lunch break. That's just one example, why we just missed all those days of school.
Right.
We just missed 7 out of the last 8 days prior to this. Last thing we needed to do was miss more school time.
There's also a very practical component to that policy. Take away the Parkland situation and the current uproar. If you had students that were able to go out and walk out in a protest for anything that they wanted to, because it was their right and we didn't have that policy, how easy would that be to say for a number of different things, we're gonna walk out this Thursday, we're gonna walk out next Friday, how much of a disruption? So there's a very practical purpose for that policy outside of all the school shootings and the scary things that we're dealing with.
Once you tell one group yes, as soon as you tell another group no, now you got discrimination issues. Because how come you let that group do it for that reason, and now you won't let us do it for our reason? You open up a can of worms.
No, we have weekends, and evenings.
We're just trying
Why
to keep.
can't we gather on a weekend or on an evening?
If we announce a march at the high school at 10 a.m. on a Saturday, then you probably have a dozen kids out of 1,600 to show up. And then we see how bad they really, how much it eats them.
I guess that is, we're not trying to suppress anybody's personal rights, and we're not trying to stop anybody from protesting and standing up and saying what they believe. That's what this country is built on. We're just trying to keep them safe as we go.
A question about spring break. If parents already have vacation plans, if they send in a note with their child for missing Thursday, Monday that week, that we have school now, they send in a note, will it be excused or?
Well, the best thing to do is if they write a note asking for an education trip, because we allow up to 10 days per year for an education trip. Five. Sorry.
Johnson, you give it more time.
So that would be the best case scenario, because if we announce that anybody and their brother can have an excused absence, we tried this once, we never say that. And Walkback says it all the time. We did it last year and it was chaos, because everybody and their brother all of a sudden go for it. So we're gonna stick to the letter of the law, and one of those avenues is educational. So we can welcome people to.
Does that have to be applied more beforehand, or can you do that?
2 weeks before, 2 weeks before, so that they can get students to get their work, and teachers to get their work. That's just any educational trip.
I'm sorry,
My
an
close friend
educational
that
what?
brought in one of his grandchildren
Educational-
tickets to Florida, has to take them to a visit.
Education, what, like an educational trip, you're saying?
Yes, if we take an education trip, as opposed to
Could I ask one last question on the issue, just?
If you said that 3 questions.
Were there any students who did, to your knowledge, who did walk out, and if so, what were the consequences that if they did?
Yeah, we're never allowed to disclose any punishment of any case if there was, but I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
If no more questions, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Meeting adjourned at 9:37
37.
a.m.